Hello and welcome. This is the Daily Dharma. My name's Dina with Empressivewarrior. Thanks for joining. This is a timeless reading. We're going to go ahead in the Daily Dharma every day as we do, go through and see what the collective vibrations are looking like and what guidance we can get from the cards. Let's take a few moments settling our energies, synchronizing our breath for today's message. Let's take a deep breath together. And release, letting that shit go. Today in the pre-messages, we did have some messages about the breath and the body. And today, at the time of this timeless reading, it is the new moon in Scorpio. So not only is on November 1st, October 31st, it's known as the Scorpio time, where the veil is thin and our psychic messages are coming in more frequently, more obviously. And then when we have the moon coming in as well at 111, and we have our first card popping off the deck, double Scorpio. It's definitely a spooky time of synchronicity and intuition. So let's see what we're talking about today. Drink from the Emerald Fountain, number 7. Four-handed meditative version. It looks like she's in a very sacred space here, carefully balancing herself, him. This is yourself, and it's telling you to make sure that you are recognizing how you're replenishing yourself with the nectar of the divine, so to speak, however that looks to you. Yes, okay, balance is the key word here with the Tao coming out under the deck, number 38, a more meditative pose. And we talked the other day, yesterday was it, about how the two individuals were shown with a flute and how that was the vibration of the voice. And I usually, when I go live, all of a sudden I have these throat chakra things here. So the Tao here shows somebody with a string instrument. And I was talking about how that's talking about more of like the actual creating things with the dexterity of the hands. And so the Tao talks about the yin and the yang, the light and the dark, a foot in both worlds. And here we are talking about this Scorpio new moon and how that's the sun and the moon, quite literally the light and the dark, in the same sector of the sky together. So it brings us together within ourselves, within the reflection space. That Scorpio is the depth, nothing superficial with Scorpio. Things either they love them or hate them generally. And here we're talking about really balancing your life. So something has become out of alignment perhaps in the past. Let's move forward and get more cards out. We'll start with actually the animal totem, and then we're going to get into the wild unknown animal deck as well. So can we get whoa, that was too many, but this one wanted to come out. This one's face up. Very interesting. Wow, I'm seeing a lot of synchronicities. There's a lot of deer energy here. So under the deck, we have horse freedom. You may be born year of the horse, Chinese zodiac. It says freedom, your heart is pure and free. A greater purpose calls you. You have unlimited reserves of stamina and strength. You follow the winds of change and accomplish your dreams. And on either side here, interestingly, we had first pronghorn action with moose wisdom. So we've got moose coming on the right side, pronghorn on the, so it's on the, excuse me, I said that backwards. There's something inverting here with my message and with my thoughts and my words here. I'm noticing a little bit of a stuttering quality. And I'll say that at the beginning of every reading, it ends up being part of the message. So I'm going to just bring it up here right up front. We've got these two animals that are more deer-like, and then I'm seeing this fallout. I've got one card here face down, but it also displaced the top card of my shamanic deck. And then down here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. 5 or so are visible-ish, but one of them is humpback whale. The other one is deer love. So let me see if I can pick this up the way it fell, and then we'll take a peek at it. It was something like that. You can pause and enlarge or zoom in if you can. So humpback whale is the singer card. Personal choice is closing your eyes and envisioning what it is that your intuition is calling you to kind of bring forth within your own energy, your own guide, your own guardian, perhaps your own Chinese zodiac, and looking into your personal potential and power base, some type of long-term animal totem. Here we have sea turtle, protection, lynx, keeper of secrets. That's my high priestess energy here, keeping the secrets safe, and so also guarding the portal into the mysteries, the great mysteries. Puffin, partnership, talks a little bit about joy and happiness. You're a joy bringer within your community, and asking your community to nourish and protect you, being willing to work with teams and to ask for help here. Then here's that deer love card. I'll read that one because we have so many deer energies here. It says, be gentle with yourself. You heal with the power of love. See the light in all things. Acknowledge your self-worth and your grace. Beautiful. Are you underestimating yourself in some way? These ones were upside down. We have dolphin with play. Quite a bit of water energy coming in as well. A lot of watery, earthy energies. Although I would say horse would be fire. Yeah, water and earth for sure. So this says, swim in the happy joy of living. Inhale confidence, exhale fear, dive into wisdom, and go with the flow. So remember this, moose energy is the wisdom, pronghorn the action. And I have them flanking this drink from the Emerald Fountain, talking about our ability to replenish ourselves in some way. And I feel like dolphin is talking about that. And also the puffin and the sea turtle. It's like, know that you're protected enough to get back out there and to express yourself with the humpback whale here, the singer. It doesn't matter if you're singing literally or just out there being seen or whatever. It's like, by you getting out there and doing your own thing, you're kind of in the flow of things. You're letting yourself receive stimulation and information and giving back to the world at large. So the more loosely you can see yourself, I want to say that sounds incorrect, but I'm just going to leave it as is. The possibly somebody needs to take themselves somewhat less seriously, but still getting stuff done. I don't think that I'm talking to a group of people that let stuff go undone. It seems like part of this is knowing that you are wise enough that you're moving forward in this decision with the appropriate amount of information. It's like you fear that you don't have something, either what it takes, or that you don't have the backing or something, or that you aren't what they're looking for. It looks like you need to just ask for the position, ask for help, put yourself out there, speak to the individual. You'll be well received. There's something that is helping you to flow within the community, within the partnership sector. And this last one that was upside down there, dragon, supernatural. And I love this card. It says, you're the ancient wise sage. You can shapeshift at will. Mastery is your destiny. Rise with dignity. And I love this one because the shape-shifting at will, I feel like you can be a bit of a social chameleon. You are more of the the wise chameleon with integrity, I would say. Somebody who's able to, as a multidimensional individual, you can resonate with many different levels of society, many different levels of social station, and different culturals and diverse populations. It's like you can go with the flow. You can take in any type of variety and flow within it. There's in here again, it says wise sage. So that is it, the wisdom of this moose energy. Yeah, grounded, and also your mind reaching the stars. That's that supernatural. So it's like the natural earth, and then made supernatural by your ability to actually blend in this cosmic teaching within the material, or something such as that. Oh, beautiful. The one that displaced the top card in the shamanic deck is this dragonfly magic. I embrace my transformation. I courageously let go of the past. The magic of nature is in me. I'm brilliant. I am blessed. Yeah, you're bringing a bit of magical flow, and kind of informed action. You're liberating your mind. You're liberating your sense of fear of not being enough in some way. And it looks like you are, in this way, really balancing your fear versus your confidence, your humility with a healthy sense of self-pride, and taking action from a place of feeling centered, not from needing anything, so to speak. So let's see what the dragonfly hit off the top. This is my ancestral card, the Wailing Tree Reconciliations. So I'm not sure why in your specific situation this comes up, but I'll tell you how it hits me. It's the card of the unlived dreams of our ancestors, particularly. It could be anybody for you, but for me, it's like there's this tree of life, it's on fire, there's all this passion, but the individual has become so rigid and entrenched that they're actually more solid and planted. They're rooted into some type of situation or stagnant circumstance. It's like this image in my head is often like, we are very much like trees, and just these trees that took our sentient nature and decided to liberate ourselves and start walking around. I know that sounds really crazy, but you're the supernatural magician here that's kind of shape-shifting yourself and kind of seeing how different situations really perhaps limited or rooted certain people, whether it's their value systems or their station in life or the mindset of their culture or something else. So yeah, how does that, your transformation, courageously letting go of the past, brilliant and blessed. I think that what we're seeing here is that potentially the ancestors didn't necessarily believe in themselves, and they didn't push, they did the safe option, and you're kind of seeing with that wisdom that you're going to set yourself free from those limitations that governed your ancestors' lives, and you're going to take new action. First card flipping out. The cosmic egg. This is incredible. I haven't used this deck in quite a while, but I believe this is the, is it the soul star chakra? It's the spirit one. Anyways, this cosmic egg is the pure potentiality of all that is. It reminds me of the world card in some of the decks, where it talks about everything is possible, everything is unity, but the only reason that things go on is the friction and the that's a little confusing. So what I want to say is this is like the ability to harness all that you are, this critical mass of your own personality, and break through the previous limitations. It's like this egg. It's in order for you to be born in some way, this connection, interconnectivity between earth and cosmic potentiality, this cosmic wisdom beyond the crown chakra is related to you kind of hatching out of your egg, out of your resting phase. So this may talk about an awakening, this possible dark and light connection here. And we see fireflies. So it talks about the very high vibrational energy that's very short-lived. It's like these bursts of inspiration that come in just little spurts and light the room and then retreat and are dark. And then, you can't really see that light in the daytime, but then when it's dark, then that light is obvious. And so it's talking about, again, light and dark, the yin and the yang, the Tao. And so it's definitely talking about your ability to kind of flow with and balance both sides of this within your own personality. This is the reason I picked up this deck. I was seeing spider in my head, and I see that it flew off with raccoon. So, and underneath is cheetah. There we have that fire energy. So the spider is earth. It talks about the feminine often, about how that aspect of ourselves, whatever gender we may be, how we can take from our center and how we spin our own lives into being and how we relate to our environment. It kind of talks about how the brain is functioning, the neural network, as well as our community, and how the aspect of feminine within us is the nourisher and provider. It's like by creating the net, by attracting what is necessary instead of going out to it. The spider just sits and waits. And this is in stark contrast to the cheetah, which is taking off. I mean, cheetahs know how to rest as well, but look at that dynamic depiction of the moment where the cheetah is moving so fast that its back legs come in front of the front legs. It's just incredible. And so here it seems like there's this waiting, and then acceleration point where it's suddenly like over the last few weeks, maybe months even, I've been getting this idea of that when you're living a life of faith and instinctual, intuitive alignment, it's like sometimes knowing what happened yesterday in the reading, this one came out as well. Even knowing that the right thing can't manifest in the wrong time or in the wrong vibration, then we don't need to play the lotto when we're not aligned. It's just a waste of money, right? We play the lotto when we're feeling in a good space, and then we have more of a likelihood of attracting. And so in the same way, when we can start to align with and read the signs and the ebb and flow of all that's around us, then we can understand when the divine, God, source, ancestors, whatever it is for you, when is the correct time to burst forward into action. When is the right time to strike? Well, it's when the iron is hot. And so there's an element here also of being a little bit responsive and instinctually so with the cheetah. And there's an aspect of making sure that we go for the right opportunities in order to feed ourselves and our brood, so to speak, because the cheetah, it rests and rests and rests at length until all of a sudden they see the perfect opportunity. Or they might go to hunt, but they're not out running around crazy. They are sneaking around, resting around some probable locations. They're very strategic, as is the spider. It builds the web in a specific way. And then when the opportunity presents, that's when the inspiration is hot. And that's when the cheetah is like, boom. And then all chaos kind of ensues for the prey, but the predator is, boom, going for it. So this raccoon card is a little interesting too, to kind of come in between that difference of energy there, but it's also, like I said, the similarities as well. The raccoon in this deck is talking about hiding out in the darkness, camouflaging oneself in the darkness, like the cheetah camouflages itself in the bright of day. And so it's orange. It's the color of the sun and the color of fire. This raccoon is in shades of grays, blacks, browns, and otherwise, and possibly even whitish gray in different areas of the body to be able to blend into the dark. And so there's something too about the spider's web. How often do we accidentally, like just today, in fact, I almost forgot. I was sitting at my desk writing and I saw a little bitty spider descending from who knows where. And I took it and put it outside. I just relocated my little friend. I know they're lucky in the house, but no thanks. Anyways, it's interesting how the web is barely perceptible, but we know it's there, but we often don't even recognize it until we like run into it with our face in the woods, so to speak. It's like, I think we're talking about here, what I want to say is being able to feel the connection and interconnectivity with ourselves and our environment and ourselves and the divine, ourselves and the ancestors is like that gossamer web that is barely perceptible when we're not looking for it. We can run smack into it and be like, what is that sticky stuff? It might be a little bit of a smattering or a sprinkling of ancestral karma when we run into something and we don't understand why we have to learn about that. Well, it might be something that we don't necessarily struggle with, but we're still accomplishing for those that stepped before us. And for some of us, depending on what type of healing mission that we might be on, sometimes those of us in different situations can find ourselves incidentally, accidentally, sort of healing through things that shouldn't necessarily have as much to do with us, but it's because we're all connected. And so there's definitely something about that, the interconnectivity of the healing, transcendental things that we're processing and alchemizing here. And that as these wise, magical individuals that we are, that we need to recognize when we're kind of hiding in the dark and in the shadows, and how it is that we can take up the opportunity to come and make some huge moves in the daytime, being seen by others and going and getting ourselves, advancing ourselves in some type of a way that's going to be ultimately nourishing, because Drink from the Emerald Fountain is all about giving ourselves the opportunity to shine, to go and get what it is that's ours, to know that we are worthy of it. Didn't that come up as well? So I want to get so many cards from so many different decks, but I also want to recognize that I did bring the I Ching book here. And with the Tao out, that's one of my messages, to get a message from the Tao to Ching Art of War deck, as well as to get something from this I Ching workbook that I brought forward. So here you go, RL Wing, the I Ching workbook. And we'll just take a blind pull, try to get a bit of a message for us. Resolution number 43, for those that want to screenshot that. I hope you can see that. Okay. The forces that may threaten you are now in a position to be eradicated. This must be done without the thought of retreat, wholly in the open and without violence. You cannot engage your adversaries in battle, for in acknowledging their strengths, you engage them and give them power. Instead, you must deny their power by making a firm public resolution to grow in the direction of what's good for your welfare. No compromise is possible. Resolution must spring from your heart and must be voiced to your friends, family, and community. Let others know fully of your intentions to overcome obstacles. This should be done calmly, cheerfully, and with authority, thus giving you a psychological advantage such as master of gamesmanship holds over his opponent. These struggles take place without passion, emotion, or violence, but with inner truth and resolve that do not know defeat. The struggle should continue until there's nothing standing in the way of your progress. Your relationship to society at large may require you to announce the truth openly. Open truth can lead to danger, but danger, as pointed out in hexagram number 29, can be a very good thing for all concerned. This could refer to a legal proceeding for some of you, or the pronouncement of your intentions to effect some kind of change. Resolution calls for peaceful, non-violent methods. Your attitude should be friendly, but uncompromising. Remember, you're dealing with the truth, and therefore all else must be discredited. In personal relationships, you may now openly make a resolution to overcome difficulties by making, by making progress in constructive directions. This will surely strengthen the bonds between you. When dealing with children, point out the possibilities rather than focusing on negative issues. However, when taking a stand in righteousness, be certain that you harbor no internal manifestations of the difficulties that you're resolved to overcome. You cannot fight corruption with corrupt motives, injustice with self-serving interests, or lies with hidden deceptions. In the process of making a public resolution, you must openly examine all aspects of yourself. If you're filled with self-satisfaction and pride, dispense with these attitudes in order to grow further. If you're miserly in the accumulation of information, distribute them to others so that more will flow openly through your hands. One who's too full can develop no more and can only invite collapse. That's incredible. So I hope you guys were able to get your own personal messages from that. My head is like buzzing with that, because what I'm getting in some types of a way is that there's this accumulation of information, but this withholding in the darkness, like, oh, well, nobody wants to hear what I have to share. I have some friends that have so many interesting ideas, and a few of them, I've mentioned this before, I may invite to have kind of a little bit of a maybe even a live, if not a round table type discussion, where maybe some of the viewers can get on board and talk. I may wait until I'm a little bit more viewed, because then we can actually have more of a quorum and more of an informative sit down or whatever. And I think that we'll theme these type of things so that we don't get going in 50 directions and gain some follower just to lose them right when we're about to get to what they care about. You know, we'll theme them. But just to increase the information that's shared. I'm a big proponent of helping other people to develop. And part of that is to stop hiding our gifts, our beauty, our self-belief. It's like sometimes I will say, it's as if this world wants to just challenge us constantly and say, you know what, I don't know how you can be. You have to be this homogenized vision that we hold for what's right for you. You have to believe in this mentality. And if you don't, then you're with this other group, which means you have to believe all of these things. You can't hold beliefs from more than one camp. You know, it's all these misinformed things where, I think that with the more grounded and cosmic polarity within ourselves, that Taoist connectivity within ourselves, it's like we can see beyond the duality, but we can also then in that way honor why the duality is necessary, and in that way recognize that even the toxic sometimes serves the divine. And that's the message of the Tao Te Ching, is to not underestimate the opposition. It's to honor the opposition because it resides in ourselves. We can't see it if it doesn't also exist within us, whether in the resistance of or in the alignment with. So let's see, how will the Tao say that much more eloquently than I just did? All right, some messages and advice from the Mixed Art of War Tao Te Ching deck. We'll take this one. Number 68. The best athlete wants his opponent at his best. The best general enters the mind of his enemy. The best businessman serves the communal good. The best leader follows the will of the people. All of them embody the virtue of non-competition. Not that they don't love to compete, but they do it in the spirit of play. In this, they are like children and in harmony with the Tao. I love that, and I was not going to share this earlier, but I will now. The mention of mastery within the cards was reminding me again of the pre-messages where I was envisioning and hearing the teachings and aligning with these teachings myself of speaking that I don't necessarily feel like my mastery means that I'm a master over others. I think that those that feel that hierarchical way have their own place. But I think for me, it's about I want to help others to reach to their own self-mastery. And so then we can be masters together. And so I would hope that others would then put their energy towards cooperation instead of competition, but sometimes that's not for everybody. And then when it comes time to train or work together and be synergistically connected, then it's like, how can we help and cooperate? How can we not keep bumping heads and trying to bend over and pick up the same object in the same exact moment and bonk our head? You know, how can we get out of our own way in that energy? And it's by kind of making sure that we're not being self-serving here, that we are using our gifts to help everyone liberate and advance. Number 18, when the great Tao is forgotten, goodness and piety appear. When the body's intelligence declines, cleverness and knowledge step forth. When there's no peace in the family, filial piety begins. And when the country falls into chaos, patriotism is born. So it looks like some of you are definitely with me in bated breath, waiting for what's about to happen. And I think that we're being told to step forward and be seen for being a force for change and a force for freedom and liberation here, to nurture the magic in the world and to help others to reach into that heart space. So we're at the end of the video.